Good evening everyone, my name is Vamshi Bharadwaj from ECE branch, and today we are going to look at convolution of signals as well as the trend removal of signals. So let's get started. As you can see, I have already written the codes on the left side and the corresponding outputs were executed on the right side of the command window. So we were given with 4 systems in our questions, and I have executed, and 4 different signals were also given. So I have taken each signal for in each system and to noted the observations of the each system. So now let's get started with the code. As you can see, I have written n is equal to 0 to 999. This means that n is a 1000 element row vector, and also xn is given inputted as x2. So x2 is x2, x3, x4 and xp2 are the predefined input signals given to us. So as you can also see that dn, dn1, dn2 are 3 variables that consist of 0 matrix which is 1 cross 1000. So it is a 0 vector of with 1000 elements. So I have created this dn, dn1 and dn2 for corresponding delta of n, delta of n minus 1 and delta of n minus 2. As we all know, delta of n is equal to 1 at n equal to 0 and is equal to 0 for all the remaining values of n, whereas delta of n minus 1 is equal to 1 at n is equal to 1, and delta of n minus 2 is equal to 1 at n is equal to 2, and they are 0 at all the remaining respective values. So as you can see, I have written for loops. So the first for loop I is equal to 1 to 1000. What does it do? So if you observe, when n of I is equal to 0, then dn of I will be stored as 1, else dn of I will be 0. So dn of I, dn a variable will be containing the corresponding delta of n values. As we can see, because at n is equal to 0, dn of I will be 1 and all the remaining values it is 0. In similar way, n of I will be equal to 1 for dn1 of I is equal to 1. So when n is equal to 1, the dn1 vector will be having the value of 1, and elsewhere it will be 0. So this is corresponding to delta of n minus 1, and in a similar fashion we can also define for delta of n minus 2, that is dn2. As you can clearly see here, n of I is equal to 2, then dn2 of I will be equal to 1, and elsewhere it will be 0. So this is corresponding to delta of n minus 2. Once we have stored the values of dn, dn1 and dn2, we can clearly obtain the impulse response by the following equation. Since we all know that the input-output relation of the first system is yn is equal to x1 of x of n plus x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2. So for h of n, which is the impulse response, it will be delta of n plus delta of n minus 1 plus delta of n minus 2 upon 3. So that is the equation I have written here. And once I have obtained the impulse response, I have taken an, which is nothing but the convolution of xn and hn. So we use conv function for the convolution between xn and hn. So an will be storing the convoluted values of xn and hn. Now if you notice that an will be having around 2000 elements, but to plot the graph we need the same scale as n. So what I have done is yn I have taken from an of 1 to 1000. This takes all the values of an for the first 1000 elements of an. So once yn contains the first 1000 elements of an, I have plotted the input, our impulse response and output. So as you can see, the output window shows it. This is the input signal, and this is the impulse response, and this is the output signal. So this is everything for the first system. Now let's get into the second system. Now in second system, if you observe the code, I have taken m is equal to 300 and n from 0 to 1599. That means n contains 1600 elements. And also again I have created hn, which is zeros vector from 1 to 1600. So again I will be running a for loop for I is equal to 1 to m, where hn of I will be equal to 1 for all the values from 1 to m. Well, this is nothing but the impulse response for the system equation 2. So if we observe the system equation 2, that is given as sigma of delta of n plus delta of n minus 1 plus so on up till delta of n minus m. So we can, if we observe clearly, then we notice that for all the values between 1 to m, hn, the impulse response will be equal to 1, and the rest it will be 0. So for all the values from between 1 to m, the hn will be equal to 1, and the remaining values it will be 0. So again, once we have obtained hn values, we will be dividing it. Hn is equal to hn by m. This is the final impulse response according to the given system. And also I have taken xn is equal to xb2 as our input signal, and as shown in the previous question, I have convoluted between xn and hn, and by the same logic, an will be having some around 2-3,000 elements, and yn I have taken from 1 to 600. So to plot the graph between yn and n, and I have used the plot function between input, impulse response, output. And this statement we will be discussing in the trend removal, so let's leave it at that last. So if we notice the graphs, this is the xb2 signal, which is our input signal, and this is our impulse response signal, whereas this is our output signal yn. Actually this is nothing but the trend line, and what this last statement does is, it is the nothing but removal of trend. We will be discussing that later. Okay, so this is the removal of the trend. Now let's get to question number 3. And again, by similar logic as in question number 1, I have taken n is equal from 0 to 999, so it contains 1000 elements, and again input signal is given as x3, and again dn and dn1 are created for delta of n and delta of n minus 1 respectively, and impulse response is given as delta of n minus delta of n minus 1 for the third system. And again by convolution, an is equal to convolution of xn and hn, and yn will be having an from 1 to 1000. And again I have plotted the functions. So as you can see here, this is our input signal x3. Let me show it to you clearly. This is the input signal x3, which is xn, and this is the impulse response, and this is our final output response, that is yn. So let's get to the question number 4. Again, it is exactly similar to question number 3, but the problem is just the system input output relation is different. So n is equal to 0 to 999, again xn equal to xn4, again dn and dn2 this time. So for us, so in this system we will be needing delta of n and delta of n minus 2, and again we will store the values of those signals using these for loops, and then hn will be the following relation, dn minus dn2 by 2, and again similar an will be convolution, and again it will be containing more elements. So to plot, we will be using yn is equal to an to 1 to 1000, and by using plot functions we directly plot those. So if we check out the graphs, so this is our x4 signal, which is the input signal, and this is our impulse response signal, and this is our final output signal. Now let us come to trend, and what is trend line and trend removal. So what are those? Now let's get to question number 2. Now if you notice here, the input signal, the given input signal xb2 has a lot of high frequency waves, also known as noises. So in order to remove these noises, we use such a system, such an impulse response, so that so this is we can see this yn is actually all the high frequency noises that we can observe here. You can see these small peaks, so those peaks are actually yn. So we can actually remove those, and we can smoothen the curve so as to obtain accurate values. So once I have plotted n comma xn minus yn, so if you can zoom this will be a lot more smoother than the original one. So if we observe carefully, the high frequencies are being restricted and only the low frequency values are being passed, so that the graph is becoming a lot smoother than the original one. So this is a low pass filter. Whereas if we see that in question number 3 and 4, these systems actually are a lot more noisier than the original one. As you can see here, there are only a few high peak values, whereas when the output signal is plotted, it is having a more disturbance in this system. So these trends So this is actually also known as noise addition, or it is also known as high pass filter. So it is allowing only high frequencies to pass through it. So such systems, the question number 3rd and 4th systems only allow high frequencies to pass through it. Yeah. So whereas if you notice in the question number 2 and 1, we can only see the low frequencies are being passed and the high frequencies are being restricted. So the input signal is becoming smoother because of the trend removal. So this is about the trend line removal and all those concepts. And if we also notice, the question number 1 is nothing, it is same as the question number 2 for m is equal to 3. So when I keep m equal to 3, this is exactly similar to first system. So that is why we cannot see any difference in the smoothing of the curves for first in these input signals. You can see there are a lot more similar, the output signal and the input signal. This is because the m value is very less, that is equal to 3. So we cannot notice a significant change in the input and output signals. Whereas when we keep m is equal to 300, we can see a lot more significant difference, because this is the trend line has this smooth, the high frequencies are being restricted, and it is becoming a lot smoother here. So this is everything about the trend removal convolution. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.